This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Well, it finally happened yesterday, May 12th, Monday, May 12th, yesterday afternoon at Dulles Airport in D.C., a chartered flight touchdown from South Africa, 59 people on board, families, mothers, fathers, children, waving American flags, smiling, thanking Donald Trump, thanking the United States of America for offering them asylum, offering them refuge from the genocide that was going on in their home country, where many, many white farmers have been murdered. Their land has been stolen. These people escaped thanks to Donald Trump, and they are here now, and they are grateful, and they are happy. And finally, we found refugees that the media, that the Democrats do not like, that they do not want. After 4 years of Joe Biden allowing in 15 to 20 million illegal aliens, allowing them to just walk across the border, oh no, that wasn't enough. Then he had to fly them in. A special program for refugees from Haiti, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela was implemented, where Joe Biden and the Biden administration sent planes, government jets to these countries, loaded them up with refugees, and flew them in the dark of the night and resettled them in your community, dumped them in Springfield, Ohio, and Aurora, Colorado, and New York, and Boston, and just said, enjoy all that comes with being a refugee in the United States. And they took up residence in hotels, nice hotels. They got free Uber rides and culturally sensitive meals and health care and all the benefits that came with being a refugee, a potential Democrat voter under Joe Biden. That didn't bother the media at all. No, they were all for it. These were people that were just yearning to breathe free. They were just here for a better life. It was an attempt to change the demographics in this country. It was indeed Joe Biden and the lawless Biden regime fulfilling the great replacement theory. Let's just change the demographic. We can't seem to win over the voters who are here. Let's bring in new voters. And it had nothing to do with seeking refuge or asylum. We know 99% of them weren't real asylum seekers. They weren't fleeing oppression. They certainly weren't fleeing potential death at the hands of a oppressive government. But we wanted them here, and nobody had a problem. Judges didn't stop Joe Biden. The media didn't talk about an invasion. They barely showed you video of them storming over the gate, over the border, or landing at airports at 2 a.m, getting on buses, heading to nice hotels. No, that wasn't a problem. But this is 59 people from South Africa, 59 white people, mostly farmers who had their land confiscated, because in South Africa, it's actually in the Constitution where the government can confiscate land in the name of equity. They can take a farm from a white farmer and give it to a black farmer. That's the deal in South Africa. And these people escaped, and they were so grateful. They were happy. They are looking forward to their new life in the United States. You know what I think they're going to do? I think they're going to work. I think we need farmers. We need agricultural workers. And I think these people have experience. They're going to probably earn a living. They probably are indeed going to make a better life for them in the United States. This was amazing. So you get 59 people, one plane load from South Africa, and it became an issue with the media and the Democrats. No, we don't want them. We want refugees. We want foreigners here in our country, but we don't want them, not them. They should go somewhere else. Why not Germany? Why not Holland? We'll get to one Democrat on CNN who's not happy with this. But here's Donald Trump being asked about this one plane load of refugees from South Africa, and his answer was perfect. Check it out.
Who claim discrimination in their home country are heading to the United States, right, where your administration is going to welcome them as refugees. Now, this comes as you've halted virtually all refugee admissions for people fleeing famine and war from countries like Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why are you creating an expedited path into the country for Afrikaners but not others?
Because they're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, we're supposed to have I guess a G20 meeting there or something, but we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of, but it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white. But whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible. I have...
That is such a good answer right there. They don't want to talk about it, but if it were the other way around, it would be a huge story. It would be the biggest story, but it's not, because it doesn't fit the narrative. There are a couple. I mean, obviously, they don't want to cover it. They don't want to tell you what's happening in South Africa. They don't care. In fact, they don't want these people here. They don't want these 59 people, these families, these children who were indeed facing likely death. They certainly were being oppressed in South Africa. Now they're here and they are grateful, and they're waving American flags. The media would prefer refugees that burn the American flag, that wave the Mexican flag or the Palestinian flag, not the American flag. They don't like this. They don't like people who love this country. They would prefer refugees who hate this country. Now, if you're watching along on Rumble or on Twitter, here's side by side. One video upsets the media. One pisses them off. The other, they're cool with. On the left, you have the 59 refugees, happy to be here, waving the flag, smiling, thanking this country for taking them in. On the other side, you have hundreds of illegal aliens storming, overrunning ICE. This was under Joe Biden, which was fine. None of them faced any charges. Literally overrunning ICE agents and storming our border. None of them are vetted. None of them are waving American flags. It doesn't look like families. It's military-age men, which was the majority of the refugees, of the illegal aliens who were allowed in this country under Joe Biden. Now, when I saw this yesterday, I said, I mean, how can you sit there if you're a Democrat, if you're in the media, how can you complain about this, cry about this, when you just sat on your hands for 4 years as tens of millions of illegal aliens were allowed in, unvetted, unvaxxed, just come on in, and we have seen the results. We've seen thousands of gang members, killers, drug dealers. We've seen the worst of the worst. We're trying to get them out. Democrats are trying to stop ICE from getting them out. But how can you, with a straight face, say, no, these people should be allowed, should be left to die in South Africa after we just sat here and said nothing or outright celebrated when Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Alejandro Mayorkas allowed in millions of illegal aliens, many of whom are who are taking advantage of all our generosity in their hotel rooms and their benefits and their Uber rides and everything else. That was fine. This is not. What's the difference? But the one thing jumps out at you: they're white. They don't want They don't want more white people. They're afraid they might not vote Democrat. They might not hate this country. It is a remarkable thing when you think about it. We want people here. They did not mind at all when we brought in Haitian, Cuban, Nicaraguan, people who couldn't speak English, people who didn't have any skill, who weren't interested in assimilating at all. Those people, those South Africans, they'll assimilate, they'll appreciate, they'll be grateful, and they'll be good Americans. And I don't know, I doubt that many of them will be living in hotels in Boston or New York City on the taxpayer dime. Two videos I want to play, which are just chilling, from South Africa. It is really hard to get details of what's going on in South Africa because obviously the government there doesn't want you to know, and the media here doesn't want you to know. So you have a hard time finding exactly how many white farmers have been killed. But check out this video. They put up a cross for every white farmer who's been murdered and has his land stolen along a highway. Go ahead, count them. It just goes on and on. Every cross is there to honor a dead white farmer. And it goes on and on and on. You hear stories occasionally about white farmers being attacked and murdered, their land stolen. I don't know. If you were to take the definition of a refugee fleeing oppression, fleeing genocide, wouldn't that fit the definition? Another video from a political rally. Yes, a rally, a political leader in South Africa with a stadium full of supporters chanting, singing, celebrating the system which allows them to take the land from white farmers. This expression is kill the Boer. Do you know that expression? That means kill the white farmer. And they're not even subtle. They're not even pretending they want anything other than the elimination of these people because of skin color, which is why the media is so supportive. The Democrats, they view the world the same way. The white farmer to them is still the oppressor, and these people are the oppressed. And of course, everything is about oppressor versus oppressed. Check out this rally as they chant and cheer for the death of white farmers. Go ahead. Kill the Boer, the white farmer. They literally chanting it, jumping up and down, cheering, supporting, killing the white farmer. And if you Google, if you check out, CNN, MSNBC, what will you hear? You'll hear that's not true. That's false. That'll get 4 Pinocchios in the Washington Post that they're actually killing white farmers. It's incredible. The reaction to this, again, it's 59 people versus 15, 20 million people that Joe Biden let in. And they had no problem with that. This is a bridge too far. Here is, what's her name? Ashley Allison. She's one of Scott Jennings' sparring partners on CNN. When Scott Jennings goes 1-on-5 every night and does just a magnificent job. And what he says is great, but when his facial expressions are even better, when he just rolls his eyes at these clowns that come at him every night. I guess I'll give Ashley Allison, former Biden-Harris staffer, credit. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about these people. She doesn't want them here. Why? Because they're white. That's all. This is incredible. Check this out.
And part of that is that the people who are native to that land deserve their rightful land back. That is not what the Afrikaners actually want to have happen, which are the white Africans. And so who are not originally from Africa, who colonized South Africa also. And so that is what they are saying is discrimination. Now, if the Constitution in South Africa is discriminatory, they have their checks and balances in that land, just like we do. And that is for them to, so if the Afrikaners don't actually like the land, they can leave that country.
They are. They're leaving to come here.
No,
These refugees are coming here.
They can actually leave and go to where their native land is, which is probably Germany.
Are you against them coming here?
Holland. Holland.
What the hell? These people, she doesn't even know what she's saying. So they can just leave. They can leave their land, which they own. By the way, Afrikaners have been there for centuries. And she said, they should go back to their native land. Native land, like place they were hundreds of years ago, their family, go back to their native land in Holland and Germany and just leave the land which was stolen from them. That is remarkable. Apply that to here. So if you don't like it, you could just leave your land, your home, your farm, just leave it because you're not native to that land. That's someone who worked for Joe Biden on CNN saying that. If they don't like it, they can leave. She doesn't want them here, but they should go back to Holland because they're white and they're colonizers and they colonized that land hundreds of years ago. These people are insane. Their whole worldview, nothing matters but skin color, nothing, which is why Trump's analysis was so good. He's like, I don't care if they're white or black. I don't care their height, their weight. That has as much to do with this as skin color, their height or weight, in my opinion. That's a good take. Here is, of course, speaking of height and weight, Yamiche Alcindor. This, I believe she's at NBC now. It used to be New York Times. Just a complete embarrassment. She was on MSNBC saying, these people claiming that they're oppressed or under attack in South Africa, I don't believe it. Go ahead, play it.
So the Trump administration, they're saying that essentially these white South Africans assimilate better and they're also not as much of a security risk. That's really causing a lot of people to be appalled, frankly. And I also should tell people that this violence that they're talking about that are dealing with these Afrikaners, I've been hearing from people that say there is violence in South Africa, but it's affecting everybody of every single race, Katie.
It's literally in their constitution that the government can take the land for equity, for racial equity. And she says their claim that they will assimilate is causing people to be appalled. Real, very articulate there, Yamiche. So the people waving flags, families, mothers, fathers, children together, waving American flags and expressing their gratitude. You wouldn't want to say they will assimilate. I'm going to say it. They will assimilate a hell of a lot better than the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio will assimilate. That's the problem. The people Joe Biden let in have no interest in assimilating. There are people like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, been here 14 years. And when he met with Van Hollen, he needed a translator because he doesn't have full command of the language. There's millions of them who don't really care about learning a language or assimilating or celebrating this country. You see it all the time. They got their flags, their Mexican flags. It's not about assimilating. It's about forcing us to accommodate them. But good for Donald Trump. This was a great move. I think they should bring them all here. All the Afrikaners who are being oppressed, who are having their land stolen. Now we're not concerned with stolen land anymore because these colonizers took the land 200, 300, 400 years ago. It does kind of lay bare the whole agenda. It's got nothing to do with people who are fleeing oppression. It's about changing this country. They don't care if their refugees assimilate. They don't care. Let them all in. Let in millions, but just not these ones. Not these ones. Good for Trump for welcoming here. Oh, by the way, the Episcopal Church, which is the church of that whack job minister in D.C. who scolded Trump on the day of the inauguration. You know, that church, it's a radical left outfit like many denominations these days. It's, you know, every Episcopal church has the trans flag and the Black Lives Matter flag and the pride flag. They ended their relationship with the United States government for, helping to resettle refugees because they wouldn't do this. They wouldn't help South African refugees. So the Episcopal Church would rather not work with the current administration to help these 59 refugees. So they will not work with the government anymore. They just don't want to help white people. That's the Episcopal Church said on Monday it would not work to settle the Afrikaners after the federal government asked it to do so under the terms of a refugee resettlement grant to the church. Presiding Bishop Sean Rowe wrote in an open letter that the church has decided to end refugee work with the federal government by the end of this year, quote, in light of our church's steadfast commitment to racial justice and reconciliation and our historic ties with the Angelical Church of South Africa. They will not work to resettle them because they're white. These aren't Christians. These are activists. And you know what? Good. They're the problem. They've been getting millions taxpayer dollars to resettle refugees from Haiti and Nicaragua and Venezuela, but they won't help South Africans. God, what a disgrace. Tells you all you need to know. All right, we got so much to get to. Like every day, today is moving at Trump speed. He's in the Middle East, securing major investments in the United States from Middle East countries, including Saudi Arabia. He's going to have a whirlwind tour around the Middle East. I heard Mark Halperin, political analyst, say that he has some deliverables in his pocket. Big news. Trump even predicted he's going to make big news, and much of it will be economic with these countries investing in the U.S. Maybe it'll be diplomatic. Maybe Saudi Arabia joins the Abraham Accords. We will see, but it's going to be a big news-breaking trip. Hell, it already has been. It's pretty wild watching them roll out the purple carpet. It's not red, it's purple carpet for Trump and the Trump team in Saudi Arabia. But this is just another day. Yesterday, what a day yesterday. Edan Alexander, the last living American hostage freed by the Hamas savages. I didn't hear a lot of celebration from Democrats or the media because they didn't give a damn about this kid, an American who'd been held hostage for 584 days, tortured, starved in tunnels in Gaza, is free, back with his mother. What a great day. You know what the problem here is? Joe Biden did not care about him. Democrats did not care. They cared more about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, MS-13, human trafficking wife beater. They wanted him home. They didn't care about Edan Alexander, but he is home, and it's a great thing, a great day. We'll get to that. And fake Jake Tapper wants you to buy his book. He's going to tell you all about the cover-up of Joe Biden's cognitive decline. What a fraud he is. But they're dropping some bombs on the Biden campaign. It's interesting. We'll get to the highlights. I will not buy the book. I implore you not to buy this a-hole's book. But they're making some news. Yes, Joe Biden. They wanted to put him in a wheelchair, according to Jake Tapper. We'll tell you about that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
Is the U.S. dollar in trouble? We're living in unpredictable times with digital currencies on the rise, a $35 trillion national debt, and inflation still at a 40-year high. Tesla billionaire Elon Musk has warned that the U.S. dollar is heading for destruction and that these factors could bankrupt the U.S. Financial experts are urging Americans to prepare right now. That's why you should strongly consider physical gold and silver to help protect your accounts like IRAs and 401ks. Preserve Gold is giving away a free precious metal guide that contains essential information on how to help protect your accounts. Just text the word Newsmax to 50505. Learn how you can put physical gold and silver into an IRA or a 401k and even purchase precious metals for delivery directly to your home. Preserve Gold has hundreds of five-star reviews and millions of dollars in trusted transactions with satisfied clients. As an exclusive offer to our listeners, in addition to the free guide, you can also get up to $15,000 in free gold and silver with a qualified purchase. So don't wait. Text Newsmax to 50505 to claim this exclusive offer from Preserve Gold today. You know, I haven't seen any interviews with these South Africans. I want to know where they're going to go. What are they going to do? I would like to know if any of them are going to live in these taxpayer-funded hotels for refugees. I want to know if they're going to be taking full advantage of all the public benefits that other refugees have gotten. I just want to know. Maybe they will. I doubt it. I bet they'll get jobs. I bet they'll contribute to society. I bet they will be forever grateful. Those are the kind of refugees we want. Unless you're Yamiche Alcindor or Ashley Allison, then you say, oh, they're not, they're white. Don't want them. All right, let's get to this big story today. And it's going to be every day. And I recommend, read the stories, read the excerpts. Do not buy the book. These people are such frauds. Two people, Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson, Tapper at CNN, Alex Thompson of Axios, have a book coming out called Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, and His Disastrous Choice to Run Again. These are two people deeply involved with the cover-up. We know that. Alex Thompson, he won an award for, his brave coverage. He started covering Joe Biden's decline about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. We talked about it every day 4 years ago. 5 years ago, when he was running, it was obvious Joe Biden was deteriorating, and we knew it. They knew it. They covered it up. They lied. Jake Tapper lied about this as much as anyone, but now he wants to cash in. So this book is coming out. It's got, allegedly some really big bombshells. They're gonna trickle it out every day for the next 2 weeks. I believe the book comes out in a week. Here's the big story from today. This is from Axios. Joe Biden's physical deterioration was so severe in 2023 and 2024 that advisors privately discussed the possibility he'd need to use a wheelchair if he won re-election. The discussions reflected the extent of the president's declining health, particularly the significant deterioration of his spine, and his aides' alarm over it as Biden sought a second term at age 81. The conversations also revealed that the White House's determination to conceal the reality of Biden's condition at the risk of his own health while he faced a tough re-election bid against Donald Trump. They claim they interviewed more than 200 people, mostly Democrat insiders, with knowledge of the events. Sure. You got it right there. The physical deterioration was so severe in 2023 and 2024. That's these two guys covering their asses because they know before 2023, they never said anything about it. They covered it up. They did what they had to do to help the Democrats and stop Trump. That was their goal. That is the goal of everyone in the mainstream media today and every day. Obviously, they failed. Obviously, it backfired. Because after the disastrous debate, everybody knew Biden couldn't do 4 more years. He couldn't do 4 more months. It's amazing to think that he was president 4 months ago. And he was always a cognitive mess. We showed you the videos every day. We talked about it every day. Biden's team said they were cheap fakes. And the media did their best to circle the wagons and protect this empty husk of a man. And no one worked harder on behalf of the Biden team than Jake Tapper, this lying fraud. There's a lot of video of Jake Tapper covering up for Joe Biden. This is perhaps the most egregious. This is in 2020 when we all knew Joe Biden just had lost his fastball. They hit him in the basement. They protected him. They lied to you. They told you he was tip-top, sharp as a tack. KJP said she couldn't keep up with him. Joe Scarborough said, this Joe Biden is the best Biden ever. That was a year ago. That was 2024, man. Now Scarborough will interview these guys and talk about how, what a sharp decline it was in 2024. No, he was always bad. He was never fit for the office. Here's Jake Tapper getting hostile with Laura Trump, who mocked Joe Biden for his various stumbles on the campaign trail when, he couldn't put a sentence together. We all saw it. We all talked about it. But Jake Tapper said, that wasn't fair because, she's not a doctor. And why doesn't she think of those children who have stutters? This drives me nuts. I've never heard Joe Biden have a stutter. We've heard him slur his words because he has dementia, but a stutter, it's just totally made up by Biden apologists, including this total fraud, Jake Tapper. Check this out.
Every time he comes on stage or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You are
to
no.
watch somebody on stage
That's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar, and I'm sure it offends you. Your father-in-law from afar. I'm sure it offends you. You don't have any standing to say.
I'm not diagnosing him. What I'm saying, Jake,
you just talked about a cognitive decline.
That Joe Biden
I have one last question for you, Laura. You can't
times on stage, and it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay,
that is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel sorry for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure
he's the worst.
You're not a doctor. You can't diagnose Joe Biden, who again couldn't put the sentence together on the campaign trail, who was hidden. And that was okay with Jake Tapper, hidden in the basement, didn't do interviews. They hid him. And they knew people like Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson would carry their water, would protect him. And they did. And they got Biden elected. They defeated Trump, which was the goal. And he says, how do you think kids with a stutter feel when you point out that Joe Biden is not really sharp anymore? That guy wants you to buy his book about the cover-up. God, I hope no one buys this frickin' book. Again, they're going to keep dropping these bombs saying that he belonged in a wheelchair, but they weren't going to put him in the wheelchair until after the election. So the goal was to get him elected in November, keep him in the race, get through the debate, keep him in the race, help him, carry him over the finish line, and then literally put him in a wheelchair, which means the Biden administration, the Biden handlers, were just like Alex Thompson and Jake Tapper. They were going to protect the man until election day, and then they could let the country see the truth. Then we could all see what condition the candidate was actually in. That's what they were trying to do, and they knew Jake Tapper, Alex Thompson, and Joe Scarborough, and a whole bunch of them. They knew they would help. They knew if somebody on the Trump team pointed out that Joe has dementia, they knew Jake would go after him, call him out, mention that kids with a stutter are going to be hurt by your insensitive comments. God, it is hard to believe that guy is trying to cash in now on exposing the cover-up in the Biden family. Just, again, take it with a grain of salt. These people knew. Jake Tapper knew. He's not a moron. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing, and he was doing it for the same reason every single person in the mainstream media did what they did. They had to stop Trump. Fortunately, they failed. I do this every day now. I watch the news, I follow the news, and I ask, would this have happened if Trump had lost, if Joe Biden had stayed in the race and won, or Kamala Harris had somehow, if the media had somehow managed to carry Kamala Harris over the finish line? She got 75 million votes. What if she got 81 million like Joe did and she were president? None of these things we're seeing happening. The border would be open. There'd be another, 5 million illegal immigrants. MS-13 gang members would be running wild. Kilmar would still be beating his wife. People would be dying. People would get poisoned with fentanyl. People would be getting murdered by TDA. You name it. Here's what else. Edan Alexander would still be in a tunnel in Gaza, tortured, starved, beaten by Hamas savages. Yes, that he was there for 584 days. Only about 110 were when Trump was in office. So he was there for almost 500 days. I don't even remember Joe Biden saying his name. I know most Democrats, Congress people, senators, hell, the only one who cared was John Fetterman. And now they're trying to kick him out of office because he will not condemn Israel, because he will not root for Hamas like the rest of the Democrats. But young Edan Alexander from New Jersey, dual citizen, he was in the IDF. He was grabbed at the age of 19. He was released at the age of 21. But thanks to the efforts of the Trump administration and Steve Witkoff, his emissary over there, he came home yesterday. He came home to his mother and his father. And I don't think Jake Tapper wants you to see this, but it was just an amazing moment. There was no deal, as far as we know. They didn't have to release 30 terrorists to get him home. They got him home, and the theory is this is Hamas' effort to drive a wedge between Israel and the U.S. I don't care. He's home, the last living American. There's still 50-something hostages there. Hopefully they'll all get out. But here's Edan Alexander, American, reuniting with his mom. God, I love that. You can see his arms, by the way. People have focused on the arms. They're all cut up and there's like scars. We're going to hear horror stories from this kid who was starved, tortured. He's very pale. He doesn't look all that gaunt, but he was apparently locked in a cage. He was handcuffed, beaten, and there'll be, hundreds of thousands or thousands of students in college campuses supporting the people who did that to him, supporting the savages, the animals who tortured him. And they can look to Columbia or Harvard or wherever and say, yeah, we got some support in the U.S. He's a 21-year-old from this country, and there'll be thousands of other 21-year-olds out marching with the keffiyehs on, supporting the people who tortured him. God, that's nuts. And all those Democrats, Chris Van Hollen, who went to El Salvador to have margaritas with an MS-13 gang member who beat his wife, he doesn't say anything. He hasn't said anything about Edan Alexander. He doesn't care about him. He doesn't care about an innocent American tortured. He wants gangbangers back in this country. And speaking of which, let's get to this Newark round 2 yesterday. These are These are your foot soldiers. If you're a Democrat right now, these are the people on the front lines. They, a bunch of clergy, like Episcopalians, these fakes, these frauds, like that minister from D.C., and they had their rainbow colors and their clerical collars on, locked arms outside the detention center in New Jersey, in Newark, to try to stop them from transporting murderers, gang members, rapists, drug dealers into the facility. They stopped an ambulance from going into the facility. They sang songs. They chanted and cheered. And here's one Democrat. She goes up to the van full of gang members. I mean, as Todd Lyons, acting ICE director, said, these people have convictions. They're either facing convictions. He said 75% are felons in this detention facility. There are literally murderers. And these absolute clowns, and they all look the same, by the way. Average age is about 72. Average weight is about 250. And they're all out there trying to free gangbangers, just the worst people in the world. These people don't want, they're with, Yamiche. They don't want, white South Africans here. They want MS-13 gang members in your community. Here's a van full of gang members, and this woman holds up some sign saying how she supports him and blowing kisses. Go ahead. Hold up a sign that says love. Look at her waddling around. These people are just lost. I mean, they're morally bankrupt. They're just empty souls, blowing kisses and holding a sign that says love to a van full of gang members with face tattoos who kill people, who terrorize people in this country, neighborhoods. And somehow they're all in, supporting them, singing them songs, and trying to stop their removal from your community. You're doing great, Democrats. Keep going. Just, I mean, it's hard to believe that's real. You're right. Rudy on the comment on the chat line, you're right. Michael Savage was correct. Liberalism is a mental disorder. There is Exhibit A right there. That woman spent her day outside a detention facility trying to stop them from getting gang members out of the neighborhoods. And Democrats, they're all in. They don't want ICE to do their job. They don't want Trump to fulfill his promise to get the worst of the worst the hell out of this country. All right, we got to get to Trump's plane. I've been reading about this, trying to make sense of this. It doesn't make sense. I don't like this idea. And we got to talk about perhaps the cruelest 2 minutes of Boston Celtics basketball I've ever seen. What a way for this season to end. Just a brutal injury to Jason Tatum. We're still waiting for the verdict, but it does not look good. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
Are you a yo-yo dieter? You diet, you lose weight, you gain it all back, plus a few extra pounds. Then later you lose it, regain it again and again and again. It's dangerous. You know this. Studies show that you can increase your risk of heart attack, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and other health problems. Breaking free of your yo-yo diet pattern is a main reason doctors created Lean. Lean is a supplement, not an injection, and you don't need a prescription. The science behind Lean is impressive. It's studied natural ingredients target weight loss in 3 powerful ways. Lean helps maintain healthy blood sugar, it helps control appetite and cravings, and it helps burn fat by converting fat into energy. Listen, if you're tired of losing weight and gaining it back, if you want to lose meaningful weight at a healthy pace, Lean was created for you. Let me get you started with 20% off when you enter Newsmax 20 at takelean.com. That's code Newsmax20 at takelean.com. Donald Trump is, I'll give him credit. He's not concerned with the optics right now. He is busy making America great again. Yes, he's not concerned with how things look to the mainstream media. That's why he's welcoming in the refugees from South Africa. That's why he's sitting down with countries in the Middle East and securing major investments in this country. He's transactional. We know that. He's going to make deals that help this country. That's his priority. That's all that matters. But I don't like this deal. He's taking a plane. Qatar is giving. See if we can get that clip. He's asked about it, and he compares it to getting a gimme putt, a 2-foot putt, and he quotes Sam Snead. Here is the story. You probably already heard it, but from ABC News. In what may be the most valuable gift ever extended to the United States from a foreign government, the Trump administration is preparing to accept a super luxury Boeing 747-8 jumbo jet from the royal family of Qatar, a gift that is to be available for use by the president as the new Air Force One until shortly before he leaves office, at which time ownership of the plane will be transferred to the Trump Presidential Library, sources told ABC. The gift had been expected to be announced next week when Trump visited Qatar, according to sources, but a senior White House official said the gift will not be presented or gifted while the president is in that country this week. And he is getting pilloried, eviscerated for this. And I don't get it. I mean, he said we need a new Air Force One. Air Force One is 30 years old or 35 years old. It's getting old. It's older than most planes you see flying above you today. Most planes you see taxiing on runways and airports today are newer than Air Force One. Maybe we need a new Air Force One. Maybe it's all the fault of Boeing. They were supposed to deliver a new plane. It's late. It's over budget. It's their fault. But here's what I can't get past. Qatar, and we know that they have they've allowed leaders of Hamas to live in Qatar. That's where they live. They live in beautiful high-rise apartments in Qatar. The ones who steal all the money and live famously high in Qatar. Qatar funds terrorism. They fund Hamas. They do indeed support terrorists. That I've been reading about it all morning. Yes, other countries in the Middle East don't like Qatar because they will not denounce the Muslim Brotherhood. So that country, those guys are giving us a plane, and Trump's just taking it, saying, yeah, why not? Doesn't make any sense. I know it's a beautiful plane. I know it's better than Air Force One, but there has to be a better way to do this. And by the way, it's going to go to the presidential library. That means in 3.5 years, this brand spanking new jet is going to get retired and used as a feature, as an item in a library like the one in Reagan's library. Doesn't make any sense. There has to be a better way to do this. I know Trump said it was a gimme, but it doesn't look good. You can't trust the Qatari family. I don't think the plane's going to be bugged or wired with explosives, but you don't get anything for nothing. I mean, there's no free lunch and there's no free jumbo jet. So I don't like it. I think there has to be a better way to do this. It's not worth the bad optics. It's not worth the trouble. Here's Trump asked about it yesterday.
What do you say to people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you? Why not leave it behind?
You're ABC fake news, right?
Why
it's
not?
only ABC. Well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed to ask him that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us. I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. You know, there was an old golfer named Sam Snead. Did you ever hear him? He won 82 tournaments. He was a great golfer. And he had a motto: when they give you a putt, You say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid. They say, no, I insist on putting it. And then they putt it and they miss it. And their partner gets angry at them. You know what? Remember that, Sam Snead. When they give you a putt, you pick it up and you walk to the next hole and you say, thank you very much.
Respectfully, sir, as a businessman, sorry, look at this and say, have you ever been given a gift worth millions of dollars and then not received
It's not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better.
First of all, it's not a stupid question. Secondly, I know they did this. They did their due diligence. They know it's legal. I think Pam Bondi reviewed this. Pam Bondi, who used to be a lobbyist for Qatar, she reviewed this and they decided it was legal. I guess they found a way. It's still a bad look. This isn't a gift from, Canada or the UK, or this is a gift from Qatar, again, who literally supports Islamic terrorists around the world. It's not a good look, but I guess he's going to do it. And again, I'll give him credit because he doesn't give a damn what the media thinks or says. And we'll see how it goes. But I think he could have lived with the old Air Force One for 3.5 more years. But anyway, all right, if you missed it last night, I hate to sound like I don't want to sound soft, but this was the saddest damn thing I've seen in a game of any kind in so long. Jason Tatum, superstar, Celtics superstar, just having an incredible game, fighting. I mean, here's it's almost unique to the NBA. It doesn't matter how good you are. It really doesn't. Yeah, he's a great player, one of the 3 or 4 best players in the league. He needed this validation. He needed to come up big in a big game. Even though they won the title last year, there's still, when you have those ESPN shows all afternoon, there it's all about, can he come up in the clutch in the big moment? Can he carry his team? And he did it last night. I scored 42 points. He had 4 steals. He had 8 boards, and he was just hitting bombs, 7 threes. And it was the Celtics had gone down in the game, but he was doing everything in his power to get them this win, to even the series, to get them this win on the road in New York, really hostile environment. And in the final, whatever it was, couple minutes, he's reaching for a loose ball or going for a loose ball. And apparently everybody seems to be in agreement that he tore his Achilles. He sure did. It wasn't a rolled ankle. It wasn't a cramp. It is a very, very serious injury to the point where you're wondering if he can come back next year. It's going to be that bad. We don't have official word yet. Do we, Ironhead? Are you looking for this? Because
I've been looking. Nothing's come out yet.
Nothing yet. It's going to come out today, probably. He left in a wheelchair, head in his hands, appeared to be crying. It was just devastating. It's over. Celtics won the title last year. They ain't winning it again. Credit to the Knicks, by the way, because he was clutch, but Jalen Brunson was even more clutch. What an amazing player. Celtics are a better team. In fact, a much better team with a healthy Jason Tatum, but not anymore. This was their heart and soul, and I've never seen an injury that's quite as devastating. I mean, you see this, and it's like a quarterback going down. I mean, you can't win without him. It's like Dan Marino telling his Achilles. They can't win without him. It was a really kind of sad, heart-wrenching way to see it end. But I got to say, I don't hate this Knicks team. They have heart, man. They are clutch. Brunson is amazing, an amazing player. But we'll find out today. But it doesn't look good for Jason Tatum. And I pointed out on Twitter, it's like the most devastating 2 minutes in Celtics history. It was a little hyperbole because Len Bias did die after they drafted him. That was a long time ago. In recent Celtics history, I don't think I've ever seen a more devastating 2 minutes. They blew the lead, they blew the game, and they lost their best player, and they lost what appears to be their chance to repeat. But we'll be watching, but it sure doesn't look good. And that's, you know what? It's almost part of the allure of professional sports. When you think about it, or college sports, it could end like that. Usually we talk about football in these terms, but like that, it's over. This guy's having an amazing game, a great season, a great stretch of a couple seasons, and it's over like that. And we don't know if he'll ever be the same. Just devastating. But any thoughts on an Ironhead?
I'm just glad yesterday was the game I didn't put money on anything.
I would have put money on the Celtics yesterday too, but the Knicks, they are overachieving, man. It's pretty impressive.
I would also say I don't think the series is necessarily over.
Oh, it is.
I mean, they have a multi-time all-star coming off the bench to replace him, so could be worse.
I don't know. That seems like it's just they know their guy. I mean, he controls the ball constantly. I mean, it's a problem sometimes. He wants the ball and he goes one-on-one way too often. He does the hero shot way too often, but it was working for him last night, and he was feeling it. And it sure seemed like, in the third quarter they were on their way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but it ended like that, and we'll wait to see. But I'm guessing we don't even see Jason Tatum next year until, after New Year's, after we'll see him again in 2026, I think. But we will see. We will leave it there for today. Thanks, everyone, for watching on Rumble and Twitter. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
I mean, I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine who's a businessman, very, very, very top guy. Most of you would have heard of him. A highly neurotic, brilliant businessman, seriously overweight, and he takes the fat shot drug,